Lumos. Hi again. So it's been a while since I last did a vlog. The reason for that is because my mental health took a bit of a dip and I didn't feel comfortable having my face on camera. I still don't feel comfortable having my face on camera, but I really wanted to do this. I felt like I had to. So I just want to quickly apologise. First of all, I look a bit awful. It's because it's like 8 o'clock at night, 8:30 here in the evening. My hair is a little bit skewered because I've been just lying on the sofa for the last few hours. It's very cold over here in England, so I'm wearing my pyjamas. I've got like a onesie on, but it is very warm in this room. So yeah, that's why I'm not looking amazing at the moment. But today, as the title of this video implies, I'm going to be reviewing Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. Now, before we get stuck into this review, I just want to make it obvious, you know, this is already going to be obvious if you're watching this video, but there are massive spoilers for the second Fantastic Beasts film in this video, and I mean huge. Like, if you haven't seen the film yet, or you don't want to be spoiled, or, you know, whatever, now is the time to click away. I can't make this any more blatantly obvious. Like, click away now if you want to avoid the spoilers and you want to see the film for yourself. So I've seen the film 4 times. I saw it at a double screening where they did like the first and the second one back to back, and that was my first time when I saw Crimes of Grindelwald. Then I watched it at the midnight one, which was like a Thursday night, Friday morning showing, and then I saw it on Sunday, and I saw it yesterday, which was Wednesday. So I've seen it 4 times. I've got quite a good knowledge of the film now. I feel like I'm only sort of, it's one of those films you have to watch more than once, I feel, to get everything. I'll probably end up watching it more times, but I feel more comfortable talking about it now that I've seen it a few times, and I can kind of talk about it a bit more confidently. The film starts with Gellert Grindelwald, who is played by Johnny Depp. He's escaping MACUSA and, you know, the authorities and the law enforcement. And I mean, it is a great escape scene. Let me just put that out there right now. It is a great way to open a movie with that escape scene. Like, I was totally pulled in. I was like, wow, amazing. And so Newt has since published his book. Jacob and Queenie turn up, and you know, I don't want to get too into it because there's just so much going on, and I'm probably gonna end up rambling later. So yeah, we find out that Credence survived, but they don't really explain why. Newt's brother is just like, you survived, Newt. And you know, that's basically what we get for an explanation. Credence has joined a circus and is now friends with Nagini, who is a maledictus, which basically means she is cursed to transform into a snake permanently at one point. At the moment she can kind of control her transformations, but later on she will be stuck in that body forever, unable to change back. So Tina is in Paris looking for Credence, and she meets Yusuf Kama, who's like, oh, we might be related, me and Credence, if he's who I think he is. Credence leaves the circus with Nagini because he wants to find his mother and find out who he really is. Grindelwald goes to Paris to look for Credence. Newt and Jacob go to Paris to look for Tina and Queenie because Queenie's run off crying, trying to find Tina after she and Jacob had a bit of a fallout. There is a lot going on in this film. Let's just take a moment, So, I know there have been some not so positive reviews of the film. I know when I last looked on Rotten Tomatoes, which is, I try not to look at Rotten Tomatoes before I watch a film because it can crush my expectations of a film, but at the last time I checked, it was 39% on Rotten Tomatoes, like 39% positive, which is way below the first Fantastic Beasts film and way below any of the Harry Potter films on Rotten Tomatoes, which does not bode well for the franchise. So I have read what the critics have said, I've read what other fans have said, and I disagree with these people. I really loved the film. I just want to put that out there right now. I loved the film so freaking much. Like, you could probably guess that, judging by the fact I went and saw it another few times after I first watched it. But I just absolutely loved it, and I cannot wait to watch it again. Having said that, I will admit the film is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. It's not the best Wizarding World film by any stretch of the imagination, but it's still, I really enjoyed it as like a Wizarding World fan. You know, someone who's been a Harry Potter fan for nearly 10 years now, like it's now 9, I think. 9 years I've been a fan of Harry Potter. You know, I really loved Fantastic Beasts of the Crimson Grindelwald. So I'm gonna just sort of start off with some positives and negatives, and then I'm gonna be talking about the backlash the film has been receiving. What I really enjoyed about the film is that the cast are all great in the film. I mean, the returning cast are just as great. So you've got Eddie Redmayne, Catherine Waterston, Alison Sudol, Dan Fogler, Ezra Miller. They're all amazing. We get to see like Johnny Depp and Zoe Kravitz properly in their characters. Like Zoe Kravitz was only a picture in the first one, and Johnny Depp had like one line in the first one. So now they have like more prominent characters in this film, and they did really great on their characters. And then we get like completely new people. So we've got like Callum Turner as Theseus, and you know, we see Nicholas Flamel and just stuff like that. You know, it's just really, they all do like a really great job in the film. Claudia Kim is great as Nagini. Like, I love her. I wish we had seen more of Nagini in the film, but the scenes she's in, Claudia Kim, just amazing. She does amazing for the little material she's given. I've spoken before about how much I love Catherine Waterston, I love Tina. I do kind of wish Tina had been given more of a role in this film. Like in this, she's kind of like, she does badass stuff and she kicks ass, but at the same time, like, I feel like she's a bit underused. Like, they don't use her as much as they could, which is super disappointing. Another thing I want to talk about as a positive was Johnny Depp's performance, and I'm gonna go more into the whole Johnny Depp thing in a minute, but all I will say is Johnny Depp, great. He's just great as Grindelwald. Another scene that I found to be a highlight in this film was we go back to Hogwarts. Guys, we go back to Hogwarts. Like, as soon as they started playing Hedwig's theme and they showed the castle, I was just like, you know what I mean? I was just like, we've come home. And it's just as magical as I remember it being in the Potter films. It's just so magical, and it does feel like you're coming home. And it just reminds me of J.K. Rowling being like, Hogwarts will always be there to welcome you home. And we get to see a young Albus Dumbledore, who's played by Jude Law, and he's like the young Albus Dumbledore, I can imagine. He's just like how I had imagined young Albus Dumbledore in my head. Like, there's a little bit of like a twinkle in his eye, but he's not quite this sage old man we know him as in Harry Potter. And we also see Hogwarts when Newt and Leta are at Hogwarts, and it's like Leta's flashback, and that is one of my favourite scenes in the film. And I remember when I was watching it yesterday, I just started crying because, first of all, the music is great. I'll talk about music in a minute, but the music is great, the acting is great, the kids they got to play young Leta and young Newt are spot on. It's like two outcasts finding each other and finding each other and becoming friends because they're both outcasts, which is what I feel Harry Potter is for all of us. Like, we're all maybe a bit of an outcast in some way. Like, maybe we're like Hermione and we're super bookish and smart, or maybe we just feel isolated and alone, or, you know, whatever. And so this kind of like touched a chord in me, because I was like, it's like the classic kind of Harry Potter J.K. Rowling message, like two loners coming together and finding each other and becoming friends. And I just thought that was a really beautiful message, and I ended up crying. So the other flashback scene, again, like I said, massive spoilers, is like we see young Leta talking about what happened to her brother Corvus, because everyone thinks Credence is Corvus, but it turns out at the end of the film she has a flashback and she tells everyone that she knows that's not true, because she was inadvertently responsible for her brother's death. Leta is on a boat with the nanny and her baby brother Corvus, and Corvus won't stop crying, so she switches the babies. So there's like another baby in like the room across the hall in the boat, and so she switches Corvus, her brother, for another baby that is apparently Credence. And then the boat starts to sink, and she and baby Credence are with the nanny and they're safe, but then Credence's aunt takes Corvus, and the boat sort of like capsizes, and so we see Corvus just sinking and drowning. And I mean, again, the music in that scene is so beautiful. Like it honestly made me want to cry. I cried watching it. It was just so eerie and beautifully done. Yeah, I mean, it just, oh. See, I'm getting emotionally drained just talking about it. Can we talk about how in love Newt is with Tina? Like Queenie and Jacob turn up at his apartment and he immediately goes like, Tina? And it's like, his face when Queenie says that Tina's not there, like it's just her and Jacob, he's just like, oh. Newt, you're so in love and you don't even know it. So there's a bit in the film a little bit later on where Newt and Jacob, they're going to go take a portkey to Paris, and it's because Newt can't travel out of the country legally, and this is the only reason he can travel without documentation anyway. So there's like Newt and Jacob on the White Cliffs of Dover, and he's like, Jacob, how do I talk to Tina? I don't know how to talk to her. And Jacob is like trying to give him advice and be like, Newt, just give her a compliment, you know, just say how you feel, it's best not to plan this stuff. And Newt just like, she has eyes just like a salamander. And Jacob's face, he's just like, don't say that. Don't mention those salamanders. It's just so funny. When Tina storms off later on and he's like, just look at Newt like, you didn't say nothing about no salamanders, did you? Like, he's like become Newt's wingman. I think Jacob's reaction to Newt being hopelessly in love is the funniest thing. There's like a bit in the film when Newt is tracking Tina and like, he's like, oh, Tina stood here. Have you noticed she has incredibly narrow feet? And Jacob's just like, can't say that I have. It's just so funny. Theseus getting tied up by Tina. It's just the funniest thing. He needs to control his temper. It just goes flying backwards. Like, it's just so funny. And Newt's just like, totally in love. He's like, I think that might be the best moment of my life. And Tina's just like, And he shows her that he's been carrying her picture about, and he's just like, you know, the newsprint doesn't do any justice. In reality, your eyes are, they're like fire in water, like dark water in fire, something like that. And then he's like, and I've only ever seen that in, and he's trying not to say salamanders, and then Tina just looks at him and goes, salamanders, and she takes it as a compliment, and it's just like so beautiful. It's so beautiful. They don't kiss or get together in this film, unfortunately, which is a bit of a bummer, but oh, thank you for that scene, J.K. Rowling. It made the whole film for me, just salamander eyes, like oh, it's so lovely. Theseus is a hugger, and one of my favourite moments is like Newt polyjuicing into Theseus, and it's just like Tina's watching, and like as he transforms and he becomes Theseus, she just goes like, ooh. Like, it's so funny. It's so funny. When Lita finds Newt and Tina in the ministry, like behind like a bookcase or whatever it is, and like Lita's like, hi Newt, and he's like, oh, hi Lita, and she just looks at Tina, and Tina's just like, hi. It's just so funny, just the way she goes hi, and Lita's just like, do I know you? It's just so funny, it's so great. I thought a really sweet moment, just really understated, was Lita helping Tina out of the case later on. I just thought it was very nice. I feel like a moment that we need to talk about, by the way, just briefly, Grindelwald smoking that skull like a bong or like a hookah or whatever it's called. That just tells you everything you need to know about the movie. He sits twice and smokes the skull like a hookah. Like, just take that in for a moment, that he does that. Theseus, I've learned, also Theseus, Hufflepuff king. He's such a Hufflepuff. He's just like, he's a hugger. He loves people. He's just, oh, he's so soft for his baby brother as well. Oh, Theseus. I can't tell which Scamander I want to marry more. Baby nifflers. baby nifflers. I want one. Can I get a baby niffler? I mean, like, I have my stuffed niffler. I've brought him to every single screening of the film I've been to. I've, like, managed to sneak him in my bag, and, like, as the lights have gone down, just, like, sat there with the niffler in my arms. I really want a baby niffler. Like, they're just so cute. Like, they're only in, like, one scene, and they're literally the cutest thing. Like, they go around, like, there's, like, one that's on, like, a cork bottle, and, like, it just flies through the air in, like, slow motion, and then, like, bounces off the wall and down down the steps of the basement, and it just, like, squeaks, and it is the cutest thing ever. Like, my heart can't take this amount of cuteness. Pickett as well, Pickett. I'm so glad we get to see Pickett again, and the Niffler. The Niffler is such a good boy. Tracking Tina, he's such a good boy. So, like, as I said, the film is not perfect. I had a few issues with it. I don't want to go too much into them because this is a positive review. So, you know, I'll go back to fangirling and positivity in a moment, but, you know, there are some issues, just we'll quickly go over those. I agree with what some people have said. There are too many characters in this film. The characters we have aren't given enough screen time. So, like, Nagini has, like, 4 lines, and she's basically there just to be Credence's only best friend, and it's like, okay, but can we do a bit better than that next time? Tina isn't really given a lot to do other than be angry at Newt and track Credence. Like, when Queenie joins the dark side, it's like, you hear her shout, like, Queenie, but that's literally the only interaction they have as sisters, which is kind of, again, really depressing. There are some characters that I feel were not necessary, and were just there to, like, fill time and, like, world build. So, like, Bunty. Now, look, Victoria Yates as Bunty, she's great, and I actually do really like the scene with Bunty. But at the same time, I felt like it was unnecessary to give Newt an assistant who's in love with him. Like, you could have spent those, like, 3 or 4 minutes, like, showing Newt bonding with his creatures by himself, or something else. But, like, you know, why add in another female who is just there to ogle Newt? Which, I mean, same. Like, Bunty's like, perhaps you should take off your shirt, and it's like, fucking same, me too, but, like, you know, it just feels like they could have used those extra 3 or 4 minutes to do some, like, really cool stuff with the beasts, you know what I mean? Queenie, who, I mean, I just want to state this, I absolutely adore Alison Sudol. She's literally one of the nicest people in the world. She writes me on Twitter sometimes. She is just so lovely. But Queenie in this film, like, I really love Queenie in the first one, but in this film, she just is completely cuckoo. Like, she, first of all, like, she just did, like, a complete 180. Like, first of all, she enchants Jacob against his will and brings him to London. Then when he gets annoyed, she gets all huffy and starts acting like a petulant child. Like, oh, you're not giving me a choice, Jacob. I just want to marry you. I just want what everyone else has. Which, it's like, Queenie, I understand that, but Jacob even says to you himself, like, Queenie, honey, they'll put you in jail, and I don't want that. And it's like, he's literally giving a solid reason to not marry you, and it's because he cares about you. This has got nothing to do with him. He just doesn't want you going to jail. You should be, like, thinking to yourself, oh, he is thinking about me. But no, Queenie's just like, you're not giving me a choice. And then she just, like, storms off, which is like, Queenie, we need to have, like, a serious talk about this. Like, you just did, like, a complete 180, and then you joined Grindelwald, and it was like, I understand her reasonings for joining Grindelwald, and I want to kind of talk about Queenie in a different vlog, maybe, because I have some feelings about Queenie in this film, and about why she joins Grindelwald, and about her relationship with Jacob, and how this all kind of interlinks. But all I will say is that just, God, she's not the Queenie we know and love, and I'm not necessarily sure that's always a good thing. Like, I agree, character development, but it's just like in the space of 9 months, she's gone from happy and bubbly and really, really lovely to, like, enchanting someone against their will and being, like, a petulant child. And it's just like, Queenie, honey, I think you need to kind of take time out. Like, I think the legitimacy is getting to your head a bit. So, a lot of critique for the film, I've noticed. You know, I mean, I agree with some of them, but at the same time, there have been certain reviews and certain fandom members that have just completely bashed the film for one reason or another. And it, you know, I'm in a Discord chat with a bunch of other Fantastic Beasts fans, and we're all quite sick of this. Like, the amount of bashing towards Crimes of Grindelwald going on. It's like, it's no wonder J.K. Rowling blocks people on Twitter or, like, you know, refuses to do stuff for fans. It's like, because the fans in this fandom are so entitled, and I'm speaking as a fan of the fandom myself. We're quite an entitled bunch. We're quite spoiled. It's like, for years we begged J.K. Rowling for stuff, and she kept on giving it, but then fandom didn't like what she was giving because it contradicted their own ideas and their own headcanons, and then that's when they started to get angry, which is what I feel is happening with this film. It's contradicting a lot of people and their ideas, and people don't like it. And I mean, like I said, it's not the best Wizarding World film, but it wasn't, in my opinion, as bad as people are making it out to be. I'm not going to mention this person's name because while I am petty, I'm not that petty, but there is someone who keeps on writing articles for MuggleNet, and they just keep on bashing the film. And it was written by all I would say is they were a boy, they were a guy writing this. But what I will say is that it speaks volumes to me that a guy who wrote this review complained, oh, I've put 11 years of my life into Harry Potter, and oh, J.K. Rowling has disappointed, this makes me disappointed, and we're all angry, and you know. And one of the things he said was that, you know, he has got like a serious grudge against female characters, it seems. Like, he referred to Nagini as a sexy lampshade, and apparently his reasoning for that was because, oh, you could just replace her with like a sexy lampshade with a note, with like a post-it note stuck on her. I'm like, if that's how you're viewing her, maybe the problem here is you and not Nagini and J.K. Rowling. Just putting that out there. If you're the one viewing women as sexy lampshades, like, I don't know what, when a lampshade's sexy, I'm sorry, but what? I don't even understand. And like this guy, like, talking about Tina, like, she's so unlikable and she's so horrible and aggressive, and it's like, you're a guy, and I can tell that even without looking at your name, because only a guy would expect a female to be a certain way. I feel like this guy's problem is that Fantastic Beasts is not Harry Potter, which of course it's not, you fucking idiot. It's not Harry Potter. It's Fantastic Beasts. It's a completely different story. Yes, they're in the same world, but they're like 70 years apart for a start. And they're like just totally different stories about totally different people. Like, you can't go into a Fantastic Beasts movie expecting to see Harry, Ron and Hermione. You're not going to see Dumbledore as Michael Gambon or Richard Harris, you know? Grindelwald is not Voldemort. So, you know, I feel like people have that expectation of the Fantastic Beasts movies that they're going in expecting to see Harry Potter, but it's not Harry Potter. And that is what is annoying people. Which to me, it doesn't annoy me because I totally get that. It's a different story. So it's just like these people just seem like they're expecting to see Hermione and Ron and Harry again. It's like, if she directly copied what she originally did with Harry, Ron and Hermione, you'd complain. So, you know, just put that out there. You know, one of the things we've talked about on our Discord chat that we're sick of seeing is actually YouTubers who have done negative reviews of the film. And I think what someone referred to it as was like, I'm sick of seeing YouTubers' smug, disappointed faces in their thumbnails as they talk about how shit the film is. And I have to agree, like, you go onto YouTube, you type it in Crimes of Grindelwald review, and it's just YouTubers like, what went wrong with Crimes of Grindelwald in their thumbnail, or like, they start smirking like, yeah, this is shit. So it's like, it's so fucking annoying, I'm gonna be honest. Like, it is so annoying. Like, I would just like to log onto my YouTube without seeing these people. Honestly. What people aren't remembering about this film is that it is the second film in a 5-film series. Like, we're only 40% into the story. We've still got 3 more movies. That's like 60%. That's a huge chunk of the story still left. And I can understand why people might be disappointed, but the thing is, you have to just wait and you have to trust that J.K. Rowling knows what she's doing. And you know, I have my doubts that sometimes with certain things she knows what she's doing. Like, as I said, spoiler, if you've made it this far into the review, I'm trusting you're okay with spoilers. But like that whole big reveal at the end with Credence is really Aurelius Dumbledore, and it's like, you know, I was just like, really? I mean, I was shocked, but I was like, really? This is where we're going with this? Okay, all right. And you know, it just, I don't know, I'm trusting that she knows what she's doing, that there's a reason she's done that, and she didn't just like throw like a dartboard and go like, yeah, Credence is going to be the brother of Dumbledore. Like, you know, I'm trusting that she knows what she's doing, because this is the woman who wrote the epilogue for Harry Potter before she wrote the rest of the books. So, you know, I'm choosing against all better judgment to trust in J.K. Rowling for this, because, you know, at the end of the day, it's J.K. Rowling's world. She can do whatever she wants with it. She can turn around and say that Dobby was in love with Snape. And I would be like, okay, well, you know what? You're the author. You can say that. You can say that if you want. Like, you know, there's stuff I don't like in the canon that I wish wasn't canon, like Cursed Child. I wish none of the Cursed Child was canon, with maybe the exception of Scorpius, because he is amazing. But, you know, it is canon, whether I like it or not, so I have to accept that. But I think that is what the problem is. People don't, like I said earlier, it's like people are annoyed that it contradicts their own expectations and their own like headcanons, and that's why people are so annoyed. I was a little bit disappointed because I came in expecting to see Newt and Tina kiss, and I was very disappointed when they didn't, and I was like, you know what, fine. I'm gonna just trust in J.K. Rowling that she knows what she's doing. I mean, like, I was disappointed with Queenie, but I'm just gonna trust that she knows what she's doing. You know, she, like I said, it's her world. She can write whatever she wants in it. It's her world. And I just find it hilarious that the so-called fans of this world are like, she needs to stop writing. Someone, like, needs to tell her to retire. And it's like, she literally created the world you're fangirling and fanboying over, and you have the audacity to turn around and be like, retire, bitch. Like, I'm sorry, but like, these people, like, I'm probably gonna get loads of hate for saying this, but if that is your opinion and you start hating on J.K. Rowling, like, retire, bitch, because you don't like what she's writing, then I feel like the problem lies with you and not her. Like, you know, there are fans out here, right, who actually really enjoyed the film. There are people who aren't fans who really enjoyed the film. Like, my managers at work watched it and were like, oh, it was actually really good. Like, it was confusing, but really good. So, you know, you just have to bear all this in mind. And just you know, keep a level head and, you know, don't be a dick, basically. So there was, like, a big thing about Johnny Depp being in this film. And, you know, I kind of had the mindset of, you know what, he's already been cast. Fans complaining isn't going to change it. And, you know, to be quite honest, I don't for 1 minute believe Johnny Depp is an abuser, and I have evidence to back that up. And you know, even if he was, it's like, separate the art from the artist. And, you know, I try not to get involved with this kind of thing, because, as I've said on my Tumblr, trying to defend myself, this is the only time I have not believed the woman involved. And that's because it later came out that Amber Heard had actually beaten the crap out of Johnny Depp. So, putting aside Johnny Depp for, like, his personal life, in this film, he is amazing. But a lot of people just are really pissed off and refusing to see the film because of that. And it's like, if you're refusing to see this film because of Johnny Depp, then I'm sorry, but you are missing out on a really, really good Grindelwald. He's so good as Grindelwald. Like, I feel like his performances, like in the Pirates of the Caribbean 5, for example, lately, they have not been as good as his earlier work. But in this film, I felt like this was his best role he's done in years. Like, I just was watching it like, wow, this is the Johnny Depp I remember watching in Tim Burton films when I was 10. this is Johnny Depp. This is why people like Johnny Depp. This is why people think he's a great actor. So he's, you know, he's really great in this film. There was a lot of controversy a few months back. David Yates said Dumbledore won't be explicitly gay in this film. And I just want to say, like, a lot of people were like, oh, they're erasing his sexuality. Like, no, he's just not going around wearing rainbow coloured robes and screaming, I love big squishy cocks. You know, he's, you know, and I watched the film and I don't know how you could view the relationship between Dumbledore and Grindelwald as anything but lovers. Like, there is so much going on. Like, I'm sure you have to kind of at least get a feeling that they were romantically involved. Like the way Dumbledore talks about Grindelwald, like his voice kind of like breaks when he says Grindelwald, and like the scene in the Mirror of Erised, for example, where we see him and Grindelwald like in their younger self, like touching hands, and he sees Grindelwald in the Mirror of Erised, and like, I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong, but that looks pretty fucking gay to me. Like, I'm not saying gay is a bad thing. Like, I am thrilled with how gay this is. So yeah, there's more I kind of wanted to talk about in this review, but I'm aware I've already gone on for quite a while, so I'm going to leave it there. If you guys have seen the film already, then feel free to drop your opinion in the comments. Let me know what you thought of Crimes of Grindelwald. You know, healthy discussion is encouraged. I won't respond to people who flame, they'll just get deleted, but you know, to those of you who are open for like healthy discussion about it, like, feel free to drop me a comment, subscribe, to leave me a like, and of course to follow me on all my social media. So there's my Tumblr, which is newt-loves-tina. It's currently been terminated by Tumblr because they've got some kind of weird thing going on. I've emailed them about 6 times in the last 48 hours begging them to give me my blog back. I'm hoping they'll do it soon because I miss my blog. But in the meantime, you can follow me on Megan's Niffler on Instagram, on Porpentina's Wand on Twitter, and also on Porpentina Queen on Instagram. And I also do have a blog where you can read about my experience at the Fantastic Beasts Crimes of Grindelwald premiere and my review of the film. And that will be on Megan Loves FBAWTFT.wordpress.com. I'll leave the link down there. And finally, if you like what I do and you want to support what I do, you want to keep me from being like a poor university student who can't afford anything, then I have a Ko-fi page that is also directly below in the description. Just feel free to donate as little or as much as you want. Even like, you know, £2.70 or whatever is great. It just, you know, it helps me buy pens and pencils for uni. So yeah, thanks guys for joining me for today's vlog. I'm afraid it hasn't been a very interesting one, just me talking about the film, but I'm curious to know what you guys thought of the film, whether you liked it or disliked it, whether you agree or disagree with my opinions, and I will see you next time. Nox.